we are coming back to realize who we are. Most of my own personal transformations is just about overcoming something that was redundant and placed into my life, either by conditioning, either by the regime, either by the other observations, either by friends, either by enemies, either by just the circumstances. And this journey obviously now has become very popular. So people go into meditation, into the retreats, into the consciousness discoveries. And why? This is exactly the aim for the global transformation, is finding ourselves, our true nature, and getting in line with that. And one aspect that I would like to add on top of that is that the people, experts, scientists in physics are now speaking about the physics of consciousness. And this is getting exciting because 400 years ago, there was the paradigm shift. Oh, our Earth is not flat. And then a few hundred years ago, oh, we are not the center of the solar system. I predict the next decade, this decade, will be giving a huge contribution in the realization of the physics of the consciousness, which will be all about the vibration, the frequencies, and our most natural predisposition to who we are and how we interrelate with everyone and everything in the nature on this planet. And that's, I think, the ultimate goal of the transformation. We are getting into our natural states that have been distorted for thousands of years or have been made difficult. So, or have been difficult because of our evolution, but we are at a point where we can leap that and be very happy with who we are and actually be thriving and flourishing just by removing what has been accumulated and is not at our service anymore. In every leap, when we have chosen which way to go at every crossroad, it's a journey of exploration. It's a journey of discovery. What's on this road? And then if we look back to our last revolution, which is digitalization, which is the connectivity and all of that, and the technology as the everything and penetrating all the parts of our lives, of course we've seen that it actually mirrors back to how we get addicted to it, how we get different kind of things. And this is the tipping point. What do we do with this new thing that we discovered on this road? And therefore we kind of are reminded that once something becomes unnatural to us, that's the tipping point. Then it's when we look at it and realize, oh, well, we would like to move on, but we will not take this baggage with us, because we realized on this journey, as we were evolving and creating more new experiences and new life design, it has become burden for our nature. So this is at least the way how I see it. We are leaping over the period of time. Let me give you an example. Let's look at money. There were stones, there were coins, there were bills, and then there were bank cards. Oh, no way. And then bank cards are okay. Now, oh, these distributed new platforms, blockchain, Bitcoin. So we're kind of gaining back to there. And why blockchain and Bitcoin and all of these currencies are now so attractive? Because people looking for trust. Because they have lost some sort of trust or some level of trust in the monetary systems, in the actual financial instruments of today. So what does it say to us? Our nature asks for deep inherent trust, that we can trust between each other, trust between us and financial instruments. That's why these new emerging technologies show up. It's only for our nature to call for this. And of course, it will be slightly challenging because the adoption of these new financial instruments will take another burden to overcome. But generally, this is how we make the progress. So I realized what I'm doing is exactly that. I'm accelerating conscious evolution as much as possible. And certainly technology plays its role. And technology, by definition, is neutral. But then it's about the intent of the designer or the developer. So therefore, First of all, technology is an amplifier, great amplifier, but it amplifies what you've been telling the technology to do. And the same with artificial intelligence. So people are, oh, the movie show, this is gonna go crazy. No, it's gonna go where these people in the power or people in charge of developing, they're gonna instruct that. So wrapping it up, technology is nothing more than a huge, huge mirror of our human nature. It amplifies everything that we tell it to do. And that's why we have this attention economy. It was created by technology design. So here we go. And the good news is the people working towards self-awareness and consciousness are paving the way for bringing much better instructions for technology. And this is what we are doing. And imagine when I speak about artificial intelligence, it can be instructed to create great algorithms with a great efficiency. But if the instructions are not clear, what actually it has to be looking at and what would be actually helpful for the human mankind, it will just produce a certain amount of result which will be much better than maybe people because of the capabilities and capacities of technology. But imagine if we improve our instructions to the artificial intelligence by a tiny bit, and then it amplifies that, the results are much, much bigger. So this is why I'm speaking to my students at the Executive MBA or the students that are looking into the artificial intelligence. I'm saying, it's great that you can program. It's great that you can improve the efficiency of the algorithms. But if you're not giving the right question to technology, you're not getting any answer that would be meaningful for you. We have to have passionate, energetic leaders speaking about this constantly all over the place. And this is how we are mirroring. This is how we are mirroring, because what makes a leader in this conscious evolution different from others? It's just the fact that they have told to themselves that I feel how this whole thing works. I feel how the evolution happens. I feel how the connection to the consciousness is actually helping us. And then I feel how the technology then be complementary to accelerate, to amplify, to make these ripples much more powerful. So leadership is, I would again refer back to genetics. So everyone has a gene of leadership. And then it's not necessarily mean that you have to lead a large organization. It doesn't mean you have to be the global organization for saving the world. It's enough if you are a leader for your kids. It's enough that you are a leader for your friends. It's enough if you're a leader for your randomly people that you meet while you sit in a cafe. And then they say, oh, I've heard you speak about the transformation. I'm very curious. And you also mentioned about the consciousness. Could you tell me a little bit more? That's it. And then when you shine that out, that light shines to their genes and they become like curious. Oh, actually, I could do that too. And then they tell the story how they went to Paris, they sit in a cafe and they had this random conversation, and this is how it ripples. So leadership is innate, inherent for people. And it's again, to what degree we are willing and we have energy and we have passion to spread it. And those circles can be larger or smaller, but we all can do it. Does a transformation threshold exist? And scientific answer to that, no. Because at least in my definition of transformation, it's a vector. It's a straight line with an arrow at the end of it. And when it's practiced on the individual level, and if you want to be a person who is, say, brushing your teeth not 2 times a day, but 3 times a day, 4 times a day, you can do it. I think anyone can do it, because if you can do it twice, you can do it 3 times and 4 times. Obvious. But people don't do that, and then kind of have their own routines and ways how they kind of get around with the maintaining 2. But imagine if that's your case and you want to become a person who is doing 4 times a day, for example, then that requires a change in your personality. And I think the journey is eternal. Why? Because if you stop doing it, you are reverting back to where you were before, and your transformation is unsuccessful. So therefore, for the transformation to be successful, it's just a directional. And maybe to give a little bit background how the transformation change differs from the two other types. So there are three types of change. Transactional, one time, simple, deal, bargain. You exchange money for the oranges. You exchange your 10 push-ups for your desire to be stronger or more healthier. And you do it once and never again, or you buy a membership and you never go to the gym. Nothing really happens. Transaction. Transition, it has a period of time. So imagine you bought your membership and you actually go to the gym, but it has the end point, it has the end date. And some people have the psychological jail, and they put themselves in the jail. I'm gonna go and do this difficult gym thing again and again and again, but I know after a year it's gonna be over. And then what happens after a year? People just don't extend it, and they're back to where they were before. So imagine the first one, transaction, is a point in time. Transition is a line. And the problem with the transition is that there's an end point, which is a trap, which is a delusion. So we have to remove it. And when we remove it, then the line is eternal, and it's pretty much reverts into the arrow, into the vector. So that's why pretty much there is, like from my science, there is no threshold for that. So leaders set the stage internally for themselves, and this is how they activate all of the possible genes that are helping them. The transformation gene, the leadership gene, the impact gene, the care about others gene, the we are one gene, and all of those. And then when the stage is set, which means how to set the stage, is to build it up and practice over and over again, over and over again. Be honest with yourself. Don't give you any kind of excuses. Don't listen to your past. Don't remember how the other people have done it wrong. Just constantly following your river of energy, your river of how you feel being purposeful on this planet. And you have that access to the energy every day, and you wake it up. And if you don't give it away to somebody else, to your phone or to other thoughts that are unnecessary, this is how the people setting up the stage. Leadership is something that is actually intertwined and shines through small, tiny details. It's not about how you have constructed the highest building in your city. That's not the leadership. The leadership is how you master your own life, and how you've been truthful and honest with yourself. And that example shines onto the others. And this is what is attracting other people's attention through their genes, that they're saying, oh, but actually I have that too. I actually have this transparency gene, and I was always willing to express my thoughts, and I would always be dedicating my time to this very purposeful thing. And this is about setting scene for the leader. For the stage is from inside, and then the rest is just a question of time. And because everything else is already in our human nature, which is social beings. Once you have set your stage internally, there is no way back. There is only the way forward.